Aloha mai kako. My name is Tara Owens. I live and work here on the island of Maui and serve as a coastal scientist with the University of Hawaiʻi Sea Grant Program. I've been asked by the County of Maui to share some brief information about living with coastal hazards on the shoreline. This is intended to help landowners and decision makers feel informed and prepared for decisions about how to build or rebuild in resilient ways. I'd like to start with some great news. And the great news is that our community has access to very detailed maps based on science that help us visualize today's and tomorrow's coastal hazards. These maps are specific to Hawaii and localized down to the individual property level. I will come back to those maps momentarily. The difficult news is that Maui is already experiencing very serious impacts of coastal hazards, such as flooding from waves and erosion that eats away at the land. And West Maui has an unfortunate distinction as one of the hardest hit areas in our state. This is due to both natural and human causes, including the geology of the region, the orientation and exposure of the coastline to waves, and notably, past land use practices that allowed the siting of buildings and infrastructure like roads very close to the shoreline. This has then often been followed by the construction of concrete or rock walls to try to stop the erosion, only to cause further problems. And now we are in a time when these conditions are even more magnified by rising sea levels, and the shoreline continues to migrate Mauka in the face of sea level rise. The images on the screen are examples from places in West Maui where shoreline migration is visible. This scenario presents as a problem only when the built environment pinches out our natural buffers like beaches, dunes, wetlands, and vegetation, and development becomes threatened. Circling back to the great news, using the information and tools we have, it is very possible to build or rebuild with options that can preserve or restore natural buffers and reduce risks to homes and buildings. Those options might include realigning development to avoid erosion impacts, elevating structures to accommodate flooding, adapting to changes by restoring beaches, dunes, and vegetative buffers, or a combination of all of these strategies. This is easy to say, of course, and it will be our collective mission as the government, the community, and landowners to achieve this together and hopefully avoid or minimize other potential disasters going forward. Regarding the maps I mentioned, I will quickly offer some orientation to the Hawaii sea level rise viewer. So let me see if I can turn on this pointer and I can point out a few features. An address can be typed into the box in the top left corner, or the maps can be manually navigated to zoom into an area of interest. Layers can be turned on and off in the right-hand boxes to show the 3 types of impacts from high tide flooding, seasonal high wave flooding, and coastal erosion, which is not a form of flooding, it is land loss, under various sea level rise scenarios. And the County of Maui is also using these maps to guide planning and permitting. On the final screen are links and QR codes to explore the sea level rise viewer and other resources at your own pace. Also, please do feel free to contact me at this email address, taram@hawaii.edu, or the Maui County Planning Department if you have follow-up questions. Mahalo nui loa for the privilege of sharing this information.